Well, the market is definitely back, and it looks like the big money is leading the charge. Today, we're going to dive into a massive crypto recovery, everything from Bitcoin absolutely smashing through a key barrier to a really strange contradiction that's happening right at the heart of DeFi. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the big picture, then zoom right in on the heavy hitters, Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll also unpack a pretty interesting puzzle in the DeFi space and wrap it all up with the one key takeaway you really need to know. First up, let's take a look at the whole board. What is the feeling in the market today?
And wow, it is just a sea of green out there. I mean, the big names, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, they're all climbing. And that's signaling a really strong wave of positive momentum that's lifting pretty much the entire market.
So what's lighting this fire? Well, it looks like a powerful combination of three things. You've got renewed optimism that the Fed might actually cut rates. You have a steady, serious stream of institutional money pouring into ETFs, and just a calmer feeling in the world overall. All of this is boosting investor confidence in a really big way.
All right, now let's turn to the king, Bitcoin. Its latest move isn't just another price jump. It is telling us a much, much bigger story about where this market might be headed.
And there it is, the big number. Bitcoin absolutely shattered that key $90,000 psychological level. It's trading at $91,404 after a solid 4.6% jump. But look, this isn't just some random spike. To really get what's happening, you have to look at where it's coming from. This is a massive rebound after a pretty brutal 29% drop from its October high. Just a little while ago, a lot of people were worried that the big institutional players were getting cold feet and backing out. This move says otherwise. Okay, next up, Ethereum. Now, it's not just following Bitcoin's lead here. It's sending out its own unique signals. And honestly, they could be a sign of something much bigger for the rest of the crypto market. We're seeing really bullish signs on a few different fronts. So the price has reclaimed that $3,000 mark. Its ETFs are now seeing their fourth straight day of inflows. But look at that middle point. Nearly $1 billion in stablecoins moved onto the Ethereum network. That is a classic indicator that activity is really starting to heat up. Now, that surge in stablecoins is often a sign that things are about to get busy in DeFi, or decentralized finance. And for anyone new to the term, just think of it like this. It's a parallel financial system that's built on the blockchain, and it cuts out the traditional middlemen, like banks. So when you see Ethereum, the market's number 2, showing this much strength, it kind of leads to the big question, right? Is this the start of the next altcoin season? That time when all the smaller cryptocurrencies start to rally like crazy? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Now, let's switch gears and look at two other major players, XRP and Solana. They both saw some nice gains today, but they took completely different roads to get there. And this is a perfect illustration of the two key ways assets can move in this market. On one side, you've got fundamental growth that's driven by very specific news. And on the other, you have growth that's just being carried along by the wider market tide. For XRP, the big story is a major regulatory win. Its parent company Ripple just got its brand new stablecoin approved for institutional use in Abu Dhabi. That is a huge green light in a major financial hub, and it could directly speed up adoption and add real fundamental value to its entire ecosystem. Solana's story, on the other hand, is all about market sentiment. It posted one of the day's biggest gains, up 5%. But get this, it did all of that despite seeing over $8 million flow out of its investment funds. This just goes to show you how powerful the overall market optimism is right now. Okay, let's dig a little deeper now because there's a fascinating contradiction brewing in the market's engine room, and that's the world of DeFi and stablecoins. So here's the puzzle for you. On one hand, you have all this institutional and venture capital money making huge bets on the future of DeFi. But on the other hand, the market for stablecoins, the very thing that fuels the entire DeFi ecosystem, it actually shrank this month. And the numbers really back this up. The total market cap for stablecoins fell by almost 1.5%. That's the first time that's happened in over 2 years. And it's mostly because of a dip in USDC. And yet, at the exact same time, you have venture capital firms like DWF Labs pledging $75 million to DeFi projects with the specific goal of getting more big institutions on board. So what gives? I mean, why are stablecoins shrinking while all this venture capital is pouring in? Is the smart money just playing the long game here, getting into position before everyone else catches on?
I would love to hear your theory on this one.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, so let's boil it all down to the single most important takeaway from today's market action.
Here's the bottom line. Today wasn't just some random rally. It was a crystal clear signal of returning institutional confidence. The big money is back, and it's flowing into everything from ETFs to the future of DeFi. So looking ahead, here are 3 things to keep on your radar. First, any news on Federal Reserve policy is going to be huge. Second, keep tracking those daily ETF inflow numbers. They're a fantastic gauge of institutional sentiment. And finally, keep an eye on altcoin trading volumes to see if Ethereum's strength really does kick off a wider rally. And that is the pulse of the market for today. So I'll leave you with this question. As we head into December, which of these forces do you think will be the one to watch? Is it going to be Fed policy, the flood of ETF money, or a potential altcoin boom? Let us know your pick in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.